Hi guys, what's up? Soul Exhaust here, and we're doing a video on changing the G27 steering wheels to an aftermarket one using two approaches. First, using no adapters. Second, using a 3D printed adapter or from whatever material it's made of. So stay tuned and watch how I did mine, and if you're not subscribed yet, please do so by hitting that subscribe button or the bell icon below. Okay, we're looking at the original G27 wheel, and this is the aftermarket wheel that I got for a bargain price. It's definitely a knockoff, but that does not really matter if we're just going to use it on our sim rig, right? Using it on an actual car, well, that's another story. It's wrapped in suede leather, and I'm already liking how it feels to the touch. Would probably need to wear gloves every time I use this though. Here's a comparison in size with the original wheel. This new wheel is now roughly 14 inches in diameter or around 350 mm. It's really a big difference from the original, not to mention it's a deep dish type. The depth of the wheel is about 100 mm. I also compared the weight with my old aftermarket wheel, which is also a knockoff, and they weigh relatively the same. The newer one is a bit heavier given the fact that it's also a bit larger. Yeah, definitely loving the wheel, and I'm excited to try it. So let's start with the replacement process. First, we obviously need to remove these 6 screws on the face of the wheel. If I'm not mistaken, we need to use the 4mm hex keys for them. Now that we've removed most screws, we're now ready to detach the steering wheel from the base. This is actually the part where you must be extra careful, or you might damage your wheel in the process. The buttons on the steering wheel have wires going into the board on the steering column, so if you're not careful in removing the wheel, the wires may be ripped off from their clips. The way I like to do this is to actually remove the board from the steering column, and take note, what you see in the video, the steering wheel is not actually dangling. I'm supporting it with my knees so the wires don't take the weight of the wheel. There are 2 screws that you need to remove. There's a set of wires that connects the board to the base, and this is what I detach first, as it's more accessible now after detaching the board rather than detaching the 2 smaller ones for the buttons. Once I get the steering wheel and board off from the base, that's the time I detach the 2 smaller clips. We'll now put the board back on the steering column and prepare to mount the custom wheel. Next, I'll show you what I did to be able to use a custom wheel with no adapter. And shout out to a friend of mine named Rosa. who actually was the first one to do this approach way back. I actually first mounted this same custom wheel about 6 to 7 years ago. What I actually did was use a round file to sort of cut away a portion of the steering wheel where the mounting screws are located. This is definitely not suggested for original or pricey wheels, but for knockoffs, it definitely gets the job done. So you place the aftermarket wheel against the steering column and then place the original center cap against it. Once the holes are aligned, screw this center cap just like how you would with the original wheel. For testing purposes, we only use 2 screws here, but if you want to use this approach, you need to secure the wheel with all the 6 screws. The parts of the wheel that we filed also acts as a guide or points where the screws can rest, and the original center cap helps holding the wheel in place. Okay, now we proceed with installing our new aftermarket wheel with a 3D printed adapter. The adapter that I got looks like this. Bolts and nuts did not come with the adapter, so I actually had to order online. The ones used here are M5 bolts and their corresponding nuts. Now we're ready to place the adapter onto the wheelbase. I have opted not to attach the buttons at this time as I'm too excited to test out the wheel, so place the original screws on the inner holes and tighten. Once the original screws are in place and tightened, it's now time to attach the new wheel. After making sure all the bolts are tight enough, let's test free rotation of the wheel. Feels good so far. This now actually moves me farther from the handbrake. Still don't know how would that feel. Paddles are now much farther as expected, but still surprising to me. Enough of that, let's take it for a spin. Okay, there you go. Hope you learned something from my video, and once again, if you have not subscribed yet, please do so by clicking on the subscribe button or the bell icon below. Thank you.